Hi everyone, and welcome back to the English Without Borders 12 Days of Christmas video series. Today is day 5, and we're going to be talking about the American tradition of Santa Claus and why we celebrate him. If you don't know me yet, my name is Kayla, your American English fluency, confidence, and pronunciation coach. And make sure you subscribe to our channel to keep watching the rest of the 12 Days of Christmas video series. Let's get into it. Where does Santa Claus come from, and why do we celebrate him? Many nations around the world celebrate Christmas with Santa Claus being an iconic figure or character throughout the holiday season. And one thing that I think is so fun or special about the Santa Claus tradition is the fact that it is something so universal, something so global that many people can relate to, but it's also very specific and regional in the sense that many countries adapt, develop, or change the idea or the image of Santa Claus based on what their own norms and traditions are. So it's something that's become very widespread in much of the world, but at the same time, there are little touches and differences behind the Santa Claus stories and traditions in different countries. I know some of you may come from countries that don't celebrate with a Santa Claus character at all, so I'll just briefly explain what that is. So the idea is that there is this big fat man that dresses in a red suit and a Santa hat that lives in the North Pole of the globe with his reindeer and in his little town and magical wonderland and workshop full of elves. And they make toys all year long to then gift these toys to good boys and girls all around the globe every Christmas and Christmas Eve. There are lots of things we do to celebrate Santa and his coming to town, but in general, the idea of gift giving behind the Santa Claus tradition is what we see here. And it's not only Santa Claus that gives gifts on Christmas, it's also friends and family members that give gifts in their own name. But the Santa Claus aspect is a really fun way to incorporate more magic and a sense of fun, especially for children during the holiday season. So where did this figure with the name Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, whatever you want to call him, where did he come from? Where did he appear from? So this name, Saint Nicholas, comes from a saint that many, many hundreds of years ago had performed good deeds unto children and therefore was known as the patron saint to children. The most common story that I've heard associated with Saint Nicholas and his character is that he was a bishop that saved 3 young girls from being given up to prostitution, a life of prostitution, by gifting 3 bags of gold to their indebted father. So the father could use the 3 bags of gold as a dowry for each child, for each daughter. A dowry is the money that in older times, and in some countries still today, dowries are used, where this money or things, goods, material gifts are given to another family as sort of payment for a matrimony to happen and to take place. So Bishop Nicholas, upon giving these 3 bags of gold to an indebted father, he was able to pay off his debts and use this gold to save his children from a life of prostitution. There are other stories I've heard out there as well, but that's the most common one. I'm not a historian, but if you are very interested in history, the history of St. Nicholas would be a very interesting one to look up. So anyways, now the story and tradition carries on into today's day and age, and Santa continues to give gifts to children to make them happy and light up their day. And the Santa Claus tradition and the role that parents play as Santa Claus to many children all around the world is a really fun part for, I think, the entire family. It adds that element of surprise and secrets to the holiday season, which make it that much more fun to give gifts, not only to children, but to anyone. So we really enjoy that gift giving tradition. And the best gifts, as always, are the ones that are really well thought out, the ones that really mean something to you, and those are the best gifts that we like to receive from Santa on Christmas Day. So that's a little bit about St. Nicholas and the American tradition of gift giving. And if you are interested in getting something special for your loved ones this Christmas and want to practice a little bit of your English skills in the meantime, I have included in the description box below a link to a blog article from FluentU that provides some really good and useful vocabulary, phrases, expressions, and norms that we use when we are going shopping, especially when it comes to gifts here during this holiday season. And one thing that I really love about this blog article is it talks about, the things that are much more part of the Western experience. So in America, it would be very common to hear certain sorts of phrases when you are in one of those situations, whereas in other countries, it may not be so common. But if you are in an English-speaking country or doing those transactions or having those interactions in English, I think these are really good phrases to make sure that you sound polite, and that you can have a good and a positive experience and still understand the norms and the traditions of what's going on in the meantime. So take a look, practice the role play with a friend or a family member, and let me know how you like it. That's all for today, guys, and I hope to see you tomorrow in day 6.